Hey everyone, so today I'm looking at the Epson EcoTank ET-2810 printer. I recently picked up one of these units from Amazon as they had a discount sale going on, and this particular unit has a few features that I really like. So let's open it up and let's talk about them real quick and see how they perform. So starting from the outside, the unit is packed well in a large cardboard box. Surprisingly, it was lighter than I expected. Epson includes some software and instructions which are clearly placed in the very front of the box. Unpacking the printer was relatively easy. I had no real gripes with the box itself and the packaging, other than the fact that I was left with a lot of plastic once everything was actually unpacked. The printer itself looks very clean, and they've given you the basics to get started. Epson includes 4 colored T522 ink bottles coming in cyan, black, magenta, and yellow. We get the instruction manuals, which are quite large and hefty. You can kind of unpack those, and a CD-ROM disc for those of you who still kind of use one of these. Apropos, I wish they would have included a USB stick instead, or some type of link for the software to be downloaded online. There is one power cable with the unit and the printer itself. Now, we can have a look at the printer once we remove all of the blue sticky tapes. They've been put in place to stop things from popping out and just kind of dropping all over the place during transport. Once all of the tapes are removed, you gain access to the scanner, which pops right open. I would have preferred if they had like a stronger cover, as this one flexes too easily and it feels a little bit kind of cheap as a whole. I know some Canon printers have actually really good lids, but this particular unit kind of suffers with a weak one. Anyway, past that, we've got the ink cartridge tank, which you pop right open. And then you have the lids for the individual seals of the ink tanks themselves. At this point, just unpack all of the cartridges and unscrew the bottles that you have. You will need to rotate them upside down to insert them into the ink slots on your printer. But don't worry, the bottles won't spill any ink on your carpet. They've been specially designed only to release fluid once inserted. So when everything is put inside, you will begin draining the bottle, and you'll see it kind of drain in real time, and you'll see the ink tank filling up down the bottom. Once everything gets topped up, just wait a few seconds and you can remove the bottle and throw it away. Do this for all of the colors and you should be good to go. Now, one thing I like about this design is that the ink for the printer is relatively cheap to buy on the market. It's not very expensive, and the design of the lids is actually pretty good because it prevents the ink from drying out, which is a problem that I've had with many printers prior. Once everything is filled up, simply close the seals and close the ink lid after that. You then need to locate the power connector on the back of the printer and insert the power cable into the socket. Make sure that you switch on everything, click the power button, and you'll see the printer enter its boot sequence. All the lights will begin lighting up and it will start making noises. Once that's done, just look at the back of the printer and space out the paper holders and extend the ramp so you can insert paper. Just find some A4 white paper and put it in there. You will need to go through the Epson installation app, which is located in the Android App Store. Then you'll need to use your Wi-Fi and your phone to connect to the printer directly. I didn't have the smoothest of experiences doing this, as it wouldn't be called a printer if everything worked perfectly. I think printers in general are the most hated office peripherals to date. But that being said, after a few attempts, I think I got everything working just fine. Please make sure you follow the prompts and everything will get set up quite easily. Once it's completed, you will then need to go into your Windows, click the Start button, type printer, and then hit enter. You will need to make sure that your Bluetooth is turned on, and then click Add Devices, locate your Epson printer, and then just pair with it. Once you've successfully added it, then it will begin showing up on all of your programs, like your PDF files and such, and simply click on it and then click Print, and it'll start churning out paper. Now, I tried both the print and the scan feature on the Epson ET-2810, and I was really impressed. It's quick and responsive, it's hassle-free. The scanning feature was incredibly fast, at least to what I'm normally used to on a printer. The end results were generally really good, and for kind of office printing, I guess, or kind of general home office use, it's pretty much flawless. I tried to challenge the printer a little bit with a random photo that I took of myself. And I know it's a little bit harder to print out, and I know I'm not using kind of the right paper for it or the right sort of settings because it's going directly from my phone, but still I think it's a pretty good test to see how this printer interfaces with your phone and how it prints from your computer as well. The end result was decent enough, I think, and it wasn't too bad. Overall, for my first sort of Epson printer, I think the ET-2810 is pretty decent. It's let down only very slightly by its weak scan cover, which you have to be a little bit careful with when you're using it, and a pointless inclusion of a CD, because who uses that these days? But cheap and effective ink storage is a huge plus for this printer. Aesthetically, the design is actually pretty beautiful. I like it in white, but it also comes in black. Sadly, Epson doesn't price match through their website, or if you call them up, which is a huge shame. But if you happen to pick one of these up from Amazon, then I think it's actually really good for a sort of ink printer. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.